Hey guys, welcome to a fun read-along announcement. Like you probably already saw in the title, in 2025 I am going to be hosting an LM Montgomery readathon. It's not going to have any cool name, it just is what it is. I am really excited about this. So a few days from now, a week-ish from now, is LM Montgomery's birthday. I mean, she's dead, but the anniversary of the date of her birth. And it will be 150 years since she was born. And so I thought, let's do a 150th anniversary read-along. There was an An-along where people read the Anne of Green Gables series. I think it was my first year on BookTube. By the time I realized what was going on, it was too late into the year to join. But I have read all of the Anne series and a number of LM Montgomery books. Let's just call her Maud. In the last few years, and I want to do a read along. I want to reread some favorites, add in some new ones, and so we're gonna do a year of Maud, nice and short, then my tongue won't trip over it. So this video I'm going to share which books we're going to be reading each month. I also am going to be showing off some of my Maud collection. I have quite the collection of Anne books, as well as some cool vintage copies of some other books, and I thought this would be a fun time to share it. So my hope is that we will read our Maud book each month, and then I hope to do a live at the end of each month. I don't know if I can quite commit to a date. I would say maybe the last Wednesday of each month, but I'm not going to say 100% that's exactly when it's gonna be. If any of you, if you have a BookTube channel and you want to join me for a live, I'll have a form below and you can tell me which book you're interested in joining for and stuff like that. And then as it gets closer, I'll pick the actual date. If you watch my videos and or if you're subscribed to my Substack, I'll have the information on the date for the lives closer to the actual date. But let's get into this. Most of it's pretty straightforward. I want to reread the whole Anne series this year, but I'm not going to read it all in order. So let's start. January is going to be Anne of Green Gables, because this is just where one should start with Maud if you haven't started any of her books before. And if you have even read this one, it's a good reread. I'm really looking forward to it. My plan is to annotate all of them as I go. I did some annotating when I went through this series, but not a ton. I actually can't even see any in this one, which is surprising to me. My Tundra editions are my 2-mark books. I feel like this is too bright for you to really see it. I love these Tundra editions. The art is done by Ellie McKay, and she actually, you know, paints the little girl, cuts her out, puts her in a scene and photographs it. Her Instagram account is really cool to follow because you get behind the scenes on how she does her photos, and I love it because you can see the different dimensions in the covers. Okay, I'm talking too long about covers. So January we're gonna be reading Anne of Green Gables. I'll show you all my editions of Anne. Should I do that now? Let's do that now, sure. Okay, so I've got this beautiful Tundra edition. I guess I should show you this one a little closer if you can get the general idea there. Isn't it just beautiful? I have this really tacky looking vintage edition. I kind of feel like it's so tacky, it's kind of cool. I found this at a thrift store. I don't know who published this. This is McGraw-Hill. When was it published? Possibly 1968? Not really sure. Oh, I have the Puffin in Bloom one. I love this whole collection of Puffin in Bloom books. So beautiful. Then, oh, I've got the 100-year anniversary. So this is how the book was originally published. So this is beautiful. It's 100 years of Anne. And then I have this vintage one. Actually, a couple of these are gifts from friends, especially my friend Kim. She's gifted me a few. Look at this. Just kind of plain, but really cool. This one is from Ryerson Press. When was this one published? Oh, you could buy a deluxe edition with 8 color illustrations of Anne of Green Gables for $4. This one is 1954, possibly? looks like. Then I have Anne of Green Gables, the illustrated classic version. I love the pink edges there, and this one has like a little inscription box. And I think, yeah, this one has a couple, I don't know if I would call them color illustrations. They're just like little details, they are little illustrations, but they're pretty minor. I don't know if there's any, oh yeah, and they do have a couple full photograph ones. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Where's my other ones? I think I have 2 more, so yeah, I have 8. I've got this one, which is by Arcturus. It has the box, and then we've got this beautiful cover. So pretty. I do think that the green is a little too vibrant, personally, with the yellow end papers, and then it's illustrated with a bunch of full page illustrations throughout. I also have The Secret Garden in this edition. They're really, really beautiful books. I don't know if they did any other books in these editions. And the last one I just shared in my book haul. It's not pretty, but this is the annotated Anne of Green Gables with different photographs throughout, and then obviously annotations. And I think there's some different illustrations. This is from the Anne of Green Gables cookbook. So just all sorts of additional fun in here. It's also quite beastly. Okay, that was a side tangent. So January we're reading Anne. Not surprising, after Anne of Green Gables. February we're gonna read Anne of Avonlea. This one is one of my favorite colors because I love the like autumnal yellows and oranges here. If you read the first Anne and you feel like she's a little bit annoying, don't worry. She tones down throughout the series, and there's a big change in her personality. Not a change, just a maturing of her personality as we go. So I definitely noticed it in this book. And then we're just gonna, oh actually, I do have Anne of Avonlea in this edition as well. Found it at the thrift store the same time I found the Green Gables one. This one's less tacky. Then for March, we are gonna go on with book 3, Anne of the Island. Also a cool cover, her and Gilbert there. April, we're continuing with Anne of Windy Poplars. I promise you, it's not gonna be just Anne. There's gonna be some surprises coming in here. Another beautiful cover. And then May is Anne's House of Dreams, which also is pretty. I wanted to read some Anne for my birthday month. So we're gonna do 5 months of Anne. Then I thought for the summer we should take a break because people often have different things going on in the summer, and if people wanted to continue the series but they're busy in the summer, this will give them a break. If people wanted to catch up, this gives them time. So for June we are going to read The Blue Castle, which I also have in the Tundra edition. I think it's very pretty. So in this one we follow Valency. She's 29 and her family like makes fun of her, like how she's an old maid. And right at the beginning of the book she gets told that she's gonna die pretty quickly, and she decides to stop listening to her family and live, and I really enjoyed it. So it's interesting that people think of different seasons when they think of this book. To me, this is a summer book. I don't know why, but I know some people think it's a fall book. But we're gonna read it in June. Then for July, we are gonna read a book that's on my 40 before 40, and that is Chronicles of Avonlea. So these are short stories set in the world of Green Gables, set in Avonlea. There's probably like 10 to 12 short stories, I would guess. There's 12. So that'll be an easy read. Then in August, before we jump in back to Anne, I wanted to reread my favorite MAUD book, The Story Girl. I love Sarah Stanley. I love the adventures her and her cousins go on. I love the writing in this book. I love the storytelling. This was just a favorite for me. Also, there is a second book called The Golden Road. I don't have it on the list, but please don't stop here. Please continue with the story. And then, like I said, for what month are we on? September, we are jumping back with Anne. So we will do Anne of Ingleside. Love the poppies. so pretty. Ah, these covers. October is going to be Rainbow Valley. This one has a snowy scene for the cover. Always fun. And then November is Rilla of Ingleside, which I didn't know how I felt about it when I first read it. And then after I was done, I was like, that was a 5-star book. It broke me. We follow Anne's daughter, Rilla, named after Marilla, in this book. And she, let me just warn you, she starts out incredibly immature, but there is some major growth throughout here. And there are some things that, yeah, like I said, just break my heart throughout. So thankfully, she matures and grows. Okay, that is all of the Anne series. And then for December, I thought I would open it up to your choice. December won't have Alive because everyone's busy in December anyway. And I would encourage you to read either a book written by MAUD or about MAUD or something. So I have a couple different options. I might read Mistress Pat because this is also on my 40 before 40. It finishes the duology with, the first one is, I always forget, Pat of Silver Bush. So I might finish this. I didn't bring all of my MAUD books upstairs, but like I said in my 40 before 40, this is book 2, and they didn't make a Tundra edition for book 1. That's very strange. So that's definitely a December option for me. Another option, I might want to reread House of Dreams. This is her biography by Liz Rosenberg. I read this years ago. This one's illustrated by Julie Morstead, which is another one of my favorite illustrators. Her illustration style is very cute. So I did read this years ago, and I struggled with it a little bit because of how hard Maud's life was and how depressing. But I think it would be a good reread. I also have Maud's journals, actually. Mine's up on my shelf there right now, so I could continue reading one of her journals. There's a bunch of different options. She has other books. I wanted to show you a couple editions that I have here as well. So I read Kilmeny of the Orchard, was it last May, a year and a half ago? Tiffany had we did Montgomery, and we read this one. Definitely not my favorite of her books, but I like this kind of vintage style cover. And I found the matching Story Girl cover as well. I got these for $1. That's a really good deal for these vintage books. These ones are published by McGraw-Hill. Again, yeah, cool edition. And then I also have one more edition of the Story Girl, which is very vintage. This one has an inscription as well. So this is, it's kind of tacky, honestly. The Story Girl, like, why is she yellow? But it has an inscription: to Andrea with lots of love from Bessie and Bill, Christmas 1948. I love that. This one is from 1947. Yeah, so there we go. I got to show off a couple more of my MAUD editions. And then, like I said, December, read whatever you want that's MAUD related. If you guys have an idea of what you would like to read for that, let me know in the comments. Maybe you'll inspire some other people or myself to pick up that book as well. If you guys think you'd like to join in, I would love to hear in the comments if you're excited about this, if you love MAUD or you want to love MAUD, you haven't read her before, you've read all her books. Let's just talk about her and her books in the comments. I did tell my daughter the other day that I'm really looking for a modern MAUD. I would love to read someone that writes as she does, that is alive now. It could be set back then, or it could be set modern times. I'm just really looking for something that feels like her, but is someone that is still writing and not dead, so that I know there's potential for more books to come. If you guys have a suggestion for that, I would love to hear it as well. Yeah, so I'm excited for a nice MAUD read along in 2025. Thanks in advance for all of you who are interested in joining. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.